might not be yours.
Okay, now it's
Okay.
live. Now we're really live. Hey, everybody, welcome to Heroes Rising. We are on time. Look at that. Great things happen, right? When great minds get together. And my God, do I got some amazing people here with me. Let me introduce you to Arlene Washburn, an amazing, amazing person. And we have Ericka Thomas, another amazing person, and E.A. Csolkovits, an amazing, amazing human being who's got two thumbs. We saw that. That's great. So one of the things that we want to do today is talk about love and trauma. Oh my gosh. These things that can either work with us or work against us or help us. But I have experts. I'm not the expert here. And that's why we have Arlene. So let me introduce you first to Arlene. Oh my gosh. What can I say about Arlene? She and I had an amazing, amazing podcast about a year ago. And she's a certified professional matchmaker. She's science-based dating. Think about that. Science-based. What that means is that she's got it down to a science, right? With decades of helping individuals achieve their relationship goals. She's matched and coached hundreds of singles worldwide. She's an industry leader. She's coached other matchmakers. Arlene continues to combine the latest science and research based on dating, relationships, modern day trends to offer singles the best resources and advice. It's so much information that she has, but she's cracked the code with the relationship bliss. Arlene is now on a mission to help millions of individuals achieve their relationship goals. Arlene, take it away, girl. Tell us about love, because I want to hear all about it.
Thank you so much for that amazing introduction. I am excited to be here with all of you. Are you going to make me a moderator so I can share my screen?
Right now.
All right, awesome. Okay,
Give me
so
a sec.
I
Okay,
have a
you
little
are.
PowerPoint just to keep me on task because I love to talk about this stuff. So can you, let's see, I
Yes, we
think I'm
see it.
sharing. Can you see my
How to have
screen?
a happy and healthy health relationship. Yep.
Exactly. So I will leave the trauma part to Ericka. I'm talking about happy and healthy relationships. And this is such an important topic, especially after everything that people have gone through in the last couple of years. You know, couples have had to come together, spend a lot of time together, not a lot of distractions of being out and about with this COVID pandemic. So they did have to confront a lot of issues. And I always like to talk to singles about how to have a happy and healthy relationship because it's never too early to learn this, right? Because you spend a lot of money, time, and effort trying to attract the right person. And if you don't know what you're doing when you get there, once you have that person, you're going to self-sabotage. So I want to talk a little bit about that today. And let me know if I'm speaking too fast because I'm trying not to run out of time.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
All right, well, here's the deal. Why should you care? Okay. So I'm trying to move some stuff out of the screen here. There's been an ongoing study at Harvard, and it started out, trying to find out what makes people happy. And they had no idea what the outcome was going to be. In fact, there's been a lot of famous people who were part of this study, including JFK. So they took boys from Harvard and they took inner city men, young men. They were like sophomores at Harvard. And then the guys who were in the area in the inner cities that weren't in school. And they wanted to figure out what would cause people to be happy to have a better life over time, right? And what they figured out is that the most important thing that a person can have is good relationships, not just your significant other, but of course, your significant other being such an important part of that. So that's one reason why this should matter to you. Another reason is this is one of my mentors, Dr. Terry Orbuck, who actually certified me as a science-based dating and relationship coach. She's being funded by the National Institutes of Health. And what her study, which has been going on for over 30 years now, has what they've determined is that people who have happy and healthy relationships, not just a relationship, but a happy and healthy one, reduce stress, handle future stress better. They have a more positive outlook. less anxiety, less depression, better heart health, fewer headaches, someone to lean on and who can celebrate you. That's such an important thing, right? Because loneliness actually can kill people. But that's a whole other topic that we would have to do on the next one. One last reason for me as a matchmaker, it's important for people to know that the cost of being single is pretty significant, right? I always call it the singles tax, because you don't have that partner who can share in some of the expenses. You don't have a partner that can even help you with time and energy and effort of doing things around the house, et cetera. So those are some of the benefits. And remember, time, energy is money. I should have put it in there instead of money. So people spend a fair amount of time, investing in trying to meet a partner. And then if you hire a matchmaker in this tri-state area, which is where I am, it's upwards of 15 grand to work with a matchmaker. So if you're going to make this kind of an investment and you don't know how to navigate relationships, you're really wasting your time, energy, and money. So these are 3 reasons to understand why this is important. Now, thank you very much for the intro, but I'm going to tell people a little bit of why they should listen to what I have to say. I founded AV Connections well over a decade ago, and I've created the Get Real, Get Love platform. So it's a coaching system, it's a membership site, and all that good stuff. But I am a master executive certified matchmaker. There is a school for matchmaking that is state accredited, and at one point took a sabbatical from my business to become the CEO of that school. And so I've traveled all over the world to Asia, Europe, the Caribbean, throughout the US to actually train other practitioners. So I know a thing or two about dating and relationships. And like I said, I focus on the science and the research, right? Because I hate anecdotal information, and most of my clients are really, really smart people. And so they need proof. They want to know that what I'm saying is accurate. So that's a little bit of why maybe you might want to listen to me. But here's one of my clients, and she was a New York Times best-selling author. I coached her. She's a functional medicine doctor, and she is now happily married. She got married for the first time at the age of 60, thanks to my coaching. I had another client, and like I said, I always attract these very smart people, TV personality, psychotherapist, whose wedding I actually attended at her alma mater, and she at Princeton University. So she's a therapist on TV. So don't assume that all therapists, no offense to therapists, we love you. And I send people there all the time, but not all of them really know about dating and relationships. This is a specialty area. And then last but not least, I had someone who's actually a mindset coach who went through my Get Real, Get Love coaching program. And she, after finishing that, it was a 90-day program. She went from single to in a relationship and engaged in a few months. So this stuff really works. And, there are a lot of strategies for having a happy and healthy relationship. And this is not anecdotal. It's not just based on my experience, although I will say that I would never allow myself to be a dating and relationship coach without having cracked the code for myself. That's just my personal standard for myself. I need to walk my talk and be very authentic, so you don't get that, imposter syndrome, as they say. For me, that was the standard. So I do have a wonderful relationship. But not only that, I have a 33-year-old daughter, because yes, I'm in my 50s, I hate to say it. And I managed to get through to her. So we broke the cycle, because I came from a single parent household, and I was able to break the cycle for myself and also for my daughter. So now she's happily married to a wonderful man that I couldn't have picked a better man myself. So this stuff is really important, because most of us get our relationship advice or the stuff that we learn from our parents, who are not always the best role models. So this is one of who I consider my mentor, and I'm going to go a little bit into these strategies. So this is Dr. Gottman. Now, Gottman is amazing. He is the king of relationships. Okay, he could predict in a study that he did in 1992 within 94% accuracy, by speaking to a couple early on when they just got married. He could predict within 94% whether or not these people were going to end in divorce. So that is incredible. And that's the thing. People are so used to thinking that dating and relationships are things you leave to chance, that there's no relationship school, if you will. And, you'll just figure it out when you have these failed relationships. But there is data, there is science, and there are ways and strategies for you to avoid all the heartache. And so his big thing is he calls them the four horsemen of the apocalypse, right? When you have a relationship, if these things exist, very likely the couple could end in marriage, and that is criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. So if you think back at any past relationships that
Okay, it seems like Arlene was a little
I
lost.
think she froze.
What happens is she is in New Jersey,
to a
so
lot
we have to. Oh,
There
you're
she is.
back.
because
We lost you for a
because they're
second. You're back. Okay, good.
oh sorry. Okay, I don't know what you missed. So I'll just keep going from here. So the other strategy that's really important is to fight fair, right? Now, a lot of people, when they fight, what they do is they chastise the individual rather than addressing the issue, right? So if there's an issue between you and your significant other, it's really important, first and foremost, to be at a calm state. If you're activated, it's important to just walk away. And you know, this little thing they tell you never to go to bed mad, that is not accurate. What the science shows is that time away from the person that you love when you're heated, when you're in an activated mode, is the best thing that you can do. So calm yourself down and then address the situation, right? Don't malign the person. So if Raphael did something to me or something that I didn't like, I would address, hey, Raphael, I didn't like this thing that you did. I wouldn't say, you do this all the time and there's something wrong with you, etc. So these are the kind of strategies that you want to consider when you're having an argument or some kind of situation with your partner, because the reality is we're all trying to get to agreement, right? And so you're never going to agree if you're, chastising someone, yelling at them, name calling, and
Okay, so
I think we lost her again.
once again, Arlene is talking about don't chastise someone just because they have an opinion, right? And I'm not gonna carry on for her necessarily, but I think her thoughts are if we chastise someone because it's the way we think, it's not necessarily the way they think. So it's important for us to understand how we treat each other. Arlene,
okay.
we lost you. You were talking about chastising somebody, so I picked it up and say, you
Ooh,
don't pick on
okay.
someone because of their thoughts, right? It's our thoughts. Go for it.
Right. So what I was saying about that is that when you have a situation that doesn't go well, that you didn't enjoy, that someone did, you would address the situation itself and not name call the person. I also civility is to really get curious. Oh, did I lose you again? I hope not. Okay. Is to get curious and ask questions. One of the best ways for you to actually get to understanding is to get curious, right? To really try to understand the other person's point of view. And the only way to do that is by asking questions. Now, when you're in curious mode, it's hard to be pissed off or mad because you actually want to understand what is going on, what they're thinking, what's bothering them. So that is the other strategy. These are the strategies that I would say when it comes to fighting. Of course, there's a lot more, but we have a limited time here. And then
One of the things that we all go through these situations where sometimes our internet is not working.
in general terms, a lot of us women are guilty of
Go
this, where
back.
we feel that the right, are you kidding me? Did you lose me again?
We did, but you know what? Every time we find you, we just get super happy.
See, and
Oh my gosh.
I want to point out that I thought Arlene was doing this on purpose because in relationships we only hear half of what the other person says. So I thought she was dramatically showing us
Yes.
how that
Well,
really works. And here's how it sounds when you only hear half of what they say. Arlene, you are so graphic. It's amazing.
I think she was
oh
a
my
little mad at
goodness.
me and she walked away. I think that's perfect, Arlene. Man, did you time that
She is
correctly?
a demonstrator. Wow.
Oh my goodness. Well, I hope that the Zoom will record this whole thing because on my end, it doesn't seem like I've lost you guys or that I got frozen. So hopefully, and if you need me to go back, let me know. But the last strategy that I want to share with you is to eliminate any expectations when it comes to relationships. It is really important to know that your partner, what makes him great or makes her great is not being a mind reader. There needs to be communication. There needs to be a conversation about anything and everything's negotiable because people sometimes come into relationships with a mindset or idea of what the roles are in the relationship, what a man has to do, what a woman has to do. But all of us are different. All of us come from different households. So it's really important to have these discussions and negotiate these things, whether it's chores around the house, how are you going to raise your children, money, finance, any of these things that are super important. And I haven't even gone into that about core values. So once you do that, it creates more harmony because there is an understanding of how you want to move forward. So I don't want to take up too much time, but I want to mention that one of the things that I'm offering today is our membership site, which is a site where people go and get coaching. They get access to data, how to determine your core values, there's a number of things involved, right? It's community driven. Our clients will actually ask questions and we create content around it. We have monthly master classes that people can also attend. This is all within our membership site. We have book recommendations and things like that, free discounted courses for people. And they also, if they're single, I know a lot of this is conversation about relationships, but for those people who are listening who are single, we are a matchmaking company. So we have a candidate pool where you can meet some of our clients. And last but not least, you could also meet some of the affiliate matchmakers because I have trained hundreds of matchmakers around the world. So I'm already connected to them and they will reach out when they have a client they're working with and they need a match for that client. So that's a great opportunity. Obviously, this is not what it's going to cost you. That happens to be the URL for the membership site. This is the insanity of it all. We are at the founding member stage. So we're only charging $8 a month to become a member. So this is
What?
incredible.
That's crazy.
I know. Well, we've decided we want founding members where we have a target number of members at that price point, which they get to keep forever. They don't have to, they can unsubscribe at any point, no questions asked. But the beauty of it is as the value and the content goes up, because we literally just launched it in January, then these people are going to be sitting pretty because it's only going to cost them $8 a month. Ultimately, it'll probably end up at $100 per month, maybe more. So that's my presentation. Thank you all for paying attention to me, whatever you were able to hear. I am so sorry about any issues. And of course, if you're interested, please reach out. AB Connections is the company. The Get Real, Get Love club subscription is here if you want to join. And that's it for me. Thank you so much. If you guys have questions or comments, I'd love to hear it.
Wow, Arlene, you are just super, super amazing. And EA said it. He said it. You demonstrated by coming in, coming out. I'm mad at you. I'm gonna leave, but I don't want to yell at you. So communication, that's everything. And you don't have to apologize for anything because what you're bringing, $8? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. Listen, most people spend more than that in Starbucks in a day. They go in the morning, they go in the afternoon. They spend way more than that. And they're not really getting that much love, right? Not in
No.
Starbucks.
No, and the thing is the kind of information that people will learn. Obviously, I just gave a little snippet of how to navigate relationships, but I'm going to be bringing experts in. I mean, there's some content with you actually in there, Raphael,
What?
for my members. But yeah, it's just helping people learn about relationships because I am on a mission to help at least 1 million people in the world to have a happy and healthy relationship and to break the cycle so that their children can emulate, because our kids don't learn from what we say to them. They learn by modeling what we do. And kids can tell when you have a loveless marriage, when you're unhappy, or the abuse or anything like that. It doesn't matter how young they are, how old they are. And the last thing you want to do is, have your child have to deal with that and then go ahead and repeat the cycle with somebody else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Once again, anybody who, even if you're in a happy relationship, you should invest the $8 a month. Why? Because your relationship is only going to get better. Arlene, you are super amazing, and I am so happy to not only be connected with you, but to have you on this panel. Thank you so much for today. That's amazing stuff.
Thank you. Likewise. Thank you
For our
so much.
viewers, we put Arlene's contact information twice in the contact and communication messaging. So check. All you gotta do is just click on the link on there, and it'll take you right to her site, and you can connect with her and gather valuable information. So it'll be an easy way to contact with her.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Well, everybody, let me introduce you to the man that just spoke. That's E.A. Csolkovits. What an amazing human being. Not only, I feel like he's my mentor, but not only that, but a friend. And so much knowledge that he's so willing to share. When we think about coaches, we think about someone who knows what the game is like. When you look at a high-level coach in a sport team, they know how the game is played. They know all the rules. They know all the ins and outs. They have a playbook. Guess what? EA has done it. He has that playbook. He can teach you how to do it. He can help you with your game. Here's the cool thing. He's been in a room with 50 presidents of companies who've paid him $5,000 each to learn from him. $5,000 each over a weekend. If you want to earn $1 million in a year, guess what? EA has done it. He knows. He's got the game plan. He will guide you through it. He's the first person to develop a profits for organizations based on what his mentor taught him and what he learned from interviewing over 1,000 millionaires. We're going to put his link up here. I would suggest highly that you click on it, book a session with him, and he can talk to you about that session. It's so worth it. Every time I speak with EA, my God, I feel like there's a rainbow, and at the end of it, I have a big barrel, and I keep getting all these golden nuggets going in, and I keep filling it. So every time I speak with EA, my gosh, I just get nuggets and nuggets of golden information. EA, would you mind taking it away, my friend? Tell us.
Happy to do so. And Arlene, great. Thank you for all your great information and sharing. And, and by the way, is that $8 forever for people if they sign up, if they're a founding member? Does that price ever go up, or are they locked in $8 forever?
They're locked in.
That's awesome.
But it's a small number of people. We just launched it. It's just a small number of founding members, and then the price is going to go up.
Wait, did I sign up yet? No? What's wrong with me? Today.
If that's true.
I'm in today.
If that's true, I don't know how to react. Anyway, so thank you for sharing all that information, Arlene. And there's so many opportunities when we see experiences in life where we can get on something when it's first starting, and to participate at a very ground level and get locked in at a great price and get all the benefits everyone's going to get later on, and enjoy those benefits, and especially when you have someone who's caring and giving. And I'll never forget one of the best quotes my mentor gave me about love. And he taught me all parts of my life, and I share stories in the interviews I've been blessed to do over the last year. But he did share with me the definition or something about love that was great, and it was a simple phrase, and it went like this: love is put in your heart, but not to stay. Love is not love until you give it away. And I thought, wow, that was such a wonderful phrase to that he just sort of planted in me at an early age. So thank you, Ariel. See, hearts, get his hearts back. All right, so for all of our listeners, I want to share something. I'm doing something a little different today. I like to do something different on our events, and I was watching some of the emails I was getting from different people that I subscribe to, and I could start to see, and I don't think I'm the only one seeing this. I've talked with a few other people, and they're seeing the same thing. When you read between the lines, when someone sends you an email, you can see there, you can sort of feel and sense that the tone is sort of changing, and that from a feeling of wealth and prosperity is seeping in little by little, sort of a feeling of desperation or hopelessness, or it just seems to be harder to do what seemed to be easier before. And I've talked with other business leaders on this, and by the way, I'm very fortunate to be in Rick Hughes with Givers University, and Raphael and myself formed a Givers Junto, and we meet once a week and go through how to help each other, and the things that we do in Givers Juntos that we set that forth. But I can share with you that it seems to be noticeable, and because of that, I wanted to sort of do a quick little screen share with everyone today, and to mention something that I hope is a little bit different than maybe anything that they might have heard in the past. And tell me if you're feeling or if you sense these exact same things. Should be coming through in a second as the PowerPoint loads up. It says preparing PowerPoint. There it is. Okay. So business hope lost, hope and results regained. Now, I can share with you that from my personal experience in seeing business owners, talking with business owners, that there's a lot of business owners that where they were once very hopeful, now are just like trying to survive. And there's a distinction there, and so I wanted to sort of touch on something we're going to do to maybe help some people try to get that hope back, and maybe get some of those results back that they've been striving to get. So the feeling, you feel like you're out of steam. From all of our listeners, do any feel like you just feel like you're out of steam? Like, where is it? Where's, like my get up and go, got up and left. And then it's not there anymore. Where is it? Do you remember when business seemed easier? It seemed more fun. It seemed hopeful. It wasn't that long ago. Nowadays, it feels like it's a little harder to get that same excitement generated. Would you agree that you're sort of sensing that? Would you agree that you're sort of feeling that in the marketplace, that people are more in survival mode, really being hopeful about how great the future can be. So who needs to increase their business hope and results now more than ever? Well, business owners. I talk to them all the time. Freelancers, more freelancers, and people doing side hustles more than ever before. Managers, people that are communicating, and yes, you. We all need to renew and increase the hope we have in our life and what we're doing with our businesses and with the products and services that we may be offering. So how can you regain your business hope and results? Well, I'm going to make available the 12 steps for business hope and results regained, because when you learn those things in 15 minutes, you are going to be like this can of whoop ass from Chuck Norris. You are going to be able to open a can of whoop ass like you never did before, as you get your hope renewed and you get excited about going back to work and really making great things happen and shifting out of survival mode, as so many businesses have been. I was driving down the street the other day, and there was 5 fast food chains in a row, and I looked at the signs, and the first 3 had the same sign: help wanted, help wanted, help wanted. The last 2 had the same sign: now leasing, now leasing. You see that when you go down your street? I sure see it when I go down mine. It's everywhere, right? So we're going to help people open that can of whoop ass again. And this is, I want you to know, Chuck Norris authorized. No, just kidding. Chuck doesn't know about this. But anyway, so I just wanted to share that because everyone knows who Chuck Norris is. If you've ever seen The Expendables, then you really know he can take out a whole town. The guy's invincible. All right. So renewed strength. Be willing to give in order to receive. At Givers University, we are givers and we walk our talk. So we have 2 simple things. Number 1, give 15 minutes to yourself. Give 15 minutes to you to begin to re-spark that hope and the results in your life again. And 2, this is what it's going to cost you. You have to be willing to make a $20 donation to the charity of your choice. Not of our choice, not one we're going to recommend, the charity of your choice. And that's what it's going to take. Just that simple. So, you're going to have it with yours truly. You're going to learn, and we're going to go through the 12 steps of business hope and results regained. And when these slots are filled, that's going to be it, because I've only put a limited number in the calendar. So you got to ask yourself, is it worth 15 minutes of your time and a $20 donation, not to me, not to Givers University, not to anyone else, to a worthy charity of your choice? And we do this on the honor system. So after the call's over, you just make the donation. We have a recommendation you can go to, but you can go anywhere you want, because we walk our talk. And so we're doing these 15-minute free calls so that other people can do something great for someone else and maybe pass it on and give a great $20 charitable donation to another entity. So here's the link to schedule your 15-minute call. You can just copy and paste that in. It's my Calendly link. You'll see there's a limited number of spots. It's limited just a couple days a week. And when those are gone, they're gone. So schedule it right away. And after your free call, because there's no strings attached, we're going to go through these things together. Then you can simply go anywhere, choose the charity of your choice, and make your donation for 20 bucks. Just that simple. So we recommend go to Give, Send, and Go. Give, Send, and Go is a great platform. It's really, really growing, and it's doing a lot of great things. Thousands of different charities and organizations you can participate with, but choose your own as well. We do it on the honor system. We just we want to give. We want to help people. We think now more than ever before, it's so critical that we renew our hope. It's so critical that we start striving and reaching again and get out of survival mode and just trying to get by or trying to keep the doors open. It is now time to transition, and we're going to go through those 12 steps. And those 12 steps will help you get right back on that path to renewing that hope. So that's what I wanted to cover with everyone. You'll be able to, as you watch this video and replay, you can go here. This will obviously show up, so you can copy and paste this link and go in, and the call's 15 minutes free, and all you got to do is make a donation to a charity of your choice for 20 bucks. Simple enough, straightforward. And our intention at Givers University is givers gain. And we believe that by being a giver, it helps us not only in relationships, things that Arlene, because one of the things we do is we teach people how to discern in their relationships. We have whole courses devoted to relationship discernment. How do you discern? What are the things, not listening to the words, what are the specific deeds at a very granular level we should be watching people do? Look at them doing these things, and then you can begin to discern. Should I pull them in closer, or should I be respectfully, not rude or nasty, respectfully begin to distance myself? That's what we do at Givers University. We teach how to discern in all of your relationships, and it carries over in business, family, socially, etc. And I'm very proud to have an associate of mine and to be in a Junto with him, and we get to share great ideas. He has come up with some astronomical, amazing ideas that's benefited our Junto when we get together once a week. And also we teach people how to form their own Junto. So here's an opportunity. If you feel that hope has been waning, if you feel that you need to sort of get those battery cables and reconnect them to the battery again, then you're going to be able to really, really benefit by this 15-minute free call that we have. And do a good thing, because you're going to always feel good. Don't you feel good after you give? Don't you feel good after you donate? So great way, give a $20 donation to someone, help them, help that cause, a cause of your choice. And that's what I wanted to cover with everyone today. And thank you for having me on. And Raphael, thank you so much for inviting me way back when, to be able to be on this great Heroes Rising event that we have. And I'll have an opportunity to talk a little bit more about Raphael in the next few minutes. In the meantime, I want to be able to introduce an amazing lady that Raphael's introduced me to. I've been following her on LinkedIn. She's got some great posts, very informative. Ericka Thomas is a resilience coach. And, I guess that is sort of like a twin sister of hope, isn't it? They have the resilience and the consistency to get through those difficult times. And Ericka teaches you how to do that. She also is the creator of Kinetic Grace Integration. And it's a program to help fitness professionals. And, I think in one way, aren't we all sort of fitness professionals? Because not only those that, that I'm sure Ericka helps with, have their own clubs and businesses, but in our own life, to take responsibility for our own fitness, if you will. I think that's very, very important. So Ericka's going to help us. She helps us with. She works with fitness professionals, wellness educators, how to not only apply trauma sensitive design to any format, but also if you're experiencing burnout. In the last 2 years, I can tell you, and I'm sure everyone here would agree, there's been millions of people that have experienced burnout in one way or another. Would you agree? In one way or another. And Ericka's going to be able to share some great, fine thoughts with us on doing this. And Ericka, thank you so much for being on Heroes Rising and sharing with our audience. And what would be the first thing that you would like to sort of give us a little bit of background, and what would be the first thing you'd like to share with our listening audience, Ericka, to help them on their road?
Thank you so much, EA and Raphael. And I think people might not understand what we mean when we say trauma. And I know when Raphael introduced everything today and said, we're going to talk about love and trauma, that might seem a little jarring, but I think what might be interesting is that there's a lot of things that I'm going to share today that overlap with some of the things that Arlene was talking about. But I'd like to start off with kind of a different or new definition of what trauma is first, so we have an idea of what we're talking about here. And I know when I talk to fitness professionals about trauma, a lot of them see it as just some sort of major injury. You know, you get sent to a trauma ward after a car accident, or something happens to you and you have experienced trauma, and it's just one big acute thing. But really, trauma is anything that overwhelms the nervous system, is too much for too fast, or too much for the nervous system for too long. So we can, yes, experience a single event that is very traumatic, whether that's physically, like a physical injury, or a physical experience that is a one and done kind of thing. But we can also be in situations that last for extended periods of time, years sometimes, that where our needs are not met, and can over time just overwhelm our resilience, right? And so, and I speak from experience there, because I looked back on my life and I would say I had never experienced trauma in any of those ways. I was not a soldier. I didn't go to war. I have never had a major injury like that, but I have had a lot of little things. And when we do not pay attention to those little things, and give ourselves opportunity to recover from those little things, then they just add up and add up. And so what I want to share today is an understanding of resilience, first of all, and how to tap into that resilience to give yourself better results in any format and anything that you are doing. And I teach both individuals and fitness professionals on a regular basis, but this is not limited to one or the other, because we're all human beings. And if you work with humans, or if you are an instructor or coach in any way, or if you want a new relationship or a better relationship with the people around you, then we need to understand how to communicate better. And I know Arlene talked about this a little bit for her in her program about communication, the importance of communication and how to do it correctly. And that is one of the pieces here. But when we're talking about resilience, it isn't about how much you can take, like how stressed you can stay, or how calm you can be. Resilience is about the delta. It's about the change between rising to that challenge, that activated state, and then being able to safely and quickly and effectively come back down to your calm state. We as humans are not meant to always be on. We are not always supposed to be in this activated fight place. So we need to give ourselves the skills to shut off that fight switch, to be able to turn it off when we want to, okay? And so when I work with professionals, fitness professionals in particular, we see a lot of trauma in their experience because we're all people. We get exposed to all kinds of different things. And we see a lot of burnout coming out. And some of that is because when we become fitness professionals, we get taught what to teach. Those certifications that we get are what to teach people. We have lots of knowledge to share, and we're turned out into the world, and here, go change the world with this information. And not a lot of emphasis is placed on how to teach that to general population, right? We don't get to learn that. And we are not given, for the most part, in my 25 years of experience in the fitness industry, I never had anybody teach me how to safely self-regulate my own nervous system. No one ever mentioned to me how to hold space for a client who is in front of me, and some things like that. So I'm going to talk about 3 of these coaching skills. And if you can pursue and kind of curate these skills and cultivate them, whether you're a fitness professional or whether you're just an individual, I think you're going to find an improvement in your overall sense of resilience just in everyday life. So you could be in HR, you could be in IT, you could be in the gym. It doesn't matter. People love and are made for connection. We were made to be in community with each other. But I think after these last 2 years, we have lost those community skills. It's really difficult to kind of really come into that relationship with any other person if you haven't been in front of people in a while, right? If you've been stuck at home and separated. So here are the skills. We're going to start with number 1, and this is a skill that we spend a lot of time on in my program, and that is understanding the word resilience, what it really means in terms of your nervous system, and then also how to safely self-regulate for yourself, your body first, you and yourself. It is impossible to have any kind of relationship with another person or co-regulate or hold space for them if you are in some highly activated state. People tend to mirror each other. If you've ever sat across from someone and paid attention to their body language, often they will mimic you without knowing it. Or maybe you find yourself sitting forward towards the other person if they're sitting towards you, or if they cross their arms, you cross your arms, things like that mimicking. That is subconscious. And if we don't pay attention, those subconscious reactions to other people can kind of sabotage what it is that we're trying to do as a coach, or just as a friend, or as a family member. So that safe self-regulation piece is important. And what we're talking about here is being able to become more aware of your body's reaction to stress, any kind of stress. So it could be something like being on a live YouTube show and having your heart race and your voice shake. These are all things that happen subconsciously. Your body does them. Your nervous system is in charge, not you. You can think all you want. Be calm, be calm, be calm, and the body will still react physiologically to a stressful stimulus. So what do we do about that? With that awareness, we need to give ourselves some way to come out of that state. Now that might mean, okay, we're just going to go through, and then at the end, we'll be able to go away from whatever that stimulus is. We can remove ourselves from that stimulus. You can actively move or touch or tap into the body. You know, there's a lot of different ways to do this. If you, the issue with this self-regulation is not that you can't become activated and react to stress. We want that. We want to rise to that challenge. The problem is when we get stuck there. So if you become stuck there, what can we do to come out of that? So I teach a tremor mechanism that comes from Dr. David Berceli, and he developed trauma release exercise. So it's a way to tap into the autonomic nervous system in a way that the body understands, to kind of shake out of that stress, right? We don't have to use that. There's lots of other things. The breath is a really powerful tool to be able to communicate with your sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system, that's your stress side. That's the activation side, right? So if we want to communicate a sense of calm, we can do it through the breath. We can do it through movement. And those are always at our fingertips. We can tap into those all the time. So if we have those skills, then when something becomes too much, too fast, or we're under maybe weeks and months of stress, we can use those tools intermittently to help calm the nervous system. Why is this important? Because as a coach, as an instructor, as a mentor, as a friend, as an employee, as a boss, we are in contact with other human beings who have also been under stress and potentially trauma. So every human being that you come into contact with has a story. They have an experience, and whether they themselves understand their experience as traumatic or not, it doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is how their body reacts to their experience. Okay? So, and the same thing for you. And because we are in connection with other people, if we want to teach, if we want to communicate something, if we are not in a calm, engaged state, it's going to be very difficult to get our point across. And if we are trying to learn something from someone else, if we are not in a calm, engaged state, we can't receive that information. So it could be the most brilliant idea to you, but if you are activated or in a state of protection instead of a state of presence, you're not going to be able to receive that. And so we lose some things there. And that is what we're talking about here, is being able to hold space. So this skill of holding space for another individual is really critical as a coach and an instructor in particular, because the people that come to us to learn from us, no matter what it is that we're teaching, they come with sometimes a lot of baggage. I don't know. I mean, maybe that was just me, but I came with a lot of baggage. I think most of us, if we work with grown-ups, adults, we've got a lot of experience under our belt, and the brain, this brilliant machine in your head, is constantly trying to make meanings out of what you are doing right now, and it'll connect to things in your past, right? So this person, I don't know, they look like this person that you used to be around, and that was a bad experience, and so this is going to be a bad experience. So the body will just react, even though the person right in front of you has no intention to harm, right? So we can get into trouble if we are not aware of those things. So this is where trauma-sensitive communication comes in, and there's a couple of pieces to trauma-sensitive communication that are really, really important. One is this curiosity piece, which Arlene mentioned before. This curiosity is major for trauma-sensitive communication, not just between other people, but to discover and become more aware of what's going on in yourself. So as you cultivate that inner awareness, you can also cultivate that same curiosity to other people. It's really hard to do it the other way. Try to be curious about somebody else without ever being curious about yourself. It's just there's a block there. So we start with ourselves, and then we can spill that curiosity out around the people around us. And then the other piece to that trauma-sensitive communication is empathy, right? So we need to understand that the person in front of you may be experiencing your relationship differently than you are. You are different people. And so we seek to understand through curiosity, and then we can have a little bit of empathy there. And then applying some really specific trauma-sensitive communication styles where we remove all negative connotation, because as soon as you say anything negative to somebody else, the brain shuts down and puts the person into a state of protection or defensiveness, right? And this goes directly to what Arlene was talking about, those fighting styles, right? You did this. I hate it when you do this. Every time you use the word you, people are like, whoa, no, not me. So there's so much overlap there. When we think about relationships with other people, we first start with our relationships with ourselves. And then the final skill that we want to cultivate as for resilience and radical results and really kind of burnout proof your body specifically as a fitness professional, but anyone, is to understand how to integrate intention, intensity, and recovery so that your body understands you are actually trying to rest and it doesn't hit back. And this is critical for the nervous system because we often rest the body, right? You go for a hard workout and now we're going to rest for a few hours. So if I work out for 1 hour, you would think 23 hours of not working out would be enough rest. But if the nervous system doesn't understand the rest of my day as restful, then that is not recovery. So we look for balance, and balance comes from opposite. We get that opposites create balance in everything. Okay, so if I do a hardcore workout with Raphael and then I decide, well, for me, I really like to run, but I just did this high intensity workout with Raphael, then running is probably not the recovery. That's not active recovery. That's not balance there. So, but even though it's for me, I'm doing it just for me. This is my time. I'm going to relax and go for a run. The body doesn't see it that way. So we look for something completely opposite. Maybe completely out of the realm of understanding. So what I mean by that is you can rest physically, but we also want to rest the mind, and we want to rest our emotions as well. So you've got physical, mental, and emotional, right? So maybe your day is really, really difficult. You took a lot of mental power in relationship with other people, and you just need a mental break. That's where all of those adult coloring books came in, right? We just shut down the brain and we're just going to color, and that's it. We don't have to think about anything else. We don't have to solve any problems. We don't have to do anything like that. And that is where we can bring in some real balance there for the nervous system.
That's awesome.
It sounds ridiculous, but it works every time. So that is those 3 skills that I was telling you about in Kinetic Grace. And you can find all that information plus a free guide to holding space at the website elementalkinetics.com.
And actually, we put that, excellent, Ericka. We put your contact information twice in the message, so people can just see the link there, click on it twice, and it goes right to connecting with you. And, they have that mind-body connection, because we can, work on our mind and work on our body, but it's like having just a couple of the ingredients for a cake, but some of the other ones are missing, and it's never going to be right or taste right. So Eric's got some great information on how to do that. So thank you, Ericka. Great information.
Thank you.
I'd like to also introduce such a great, excellent man. And I want to share with you probably that, we want to associate ourselves with the right kind of people. And Raphael is truly the kind of person that when he sees an obstacle, he doesn't look at it even as an obstacle. He thinks, okay, how do I go around this? Do I go over it? Do I go through it? Or do I, how exactly does that work? And I'll show you exactly by a quick little story of how simple and how great Raphael is in the way he does things. There was an old man, an elderly man, that was standing in a long line at a bank. Anyone here ever been in a long line at the bank because they only had one teller? And everyone's in that line waiting patiently, right? And so this elderly man finally got up to the window, and he told the teller he wanted to withdraw $10. And she clearly had been overworking, got a little snippy with him and said, "Sir, you've been waiting all this time for only $10. You know you can get it at the ATM, and all these people are waiting behind you. Please don't take up my time. Go to the ATM." And he responded by saying, "Ma'am, I appreciate what you just said, but I want to let you know that I think it was a little out of line. I would like to withdraw all of my money now, please." And she said, "Oh, sorry, sir, I'm really sorry." And he gave her the account information. She said, "Sir, you have $300,000 in your account." He said, "That's right." And he says, "I'd like to withdraw it." She said, "Sir, I'm sorry, we're not able to do that. We don't have that kind of money in the bank. We don't carry that kind of cash." He said, "Well, how much can I withdraw today?" And she said, "Well, we can give you $3,000 in cash." He says, "Okay, I'd like to withdraw $3,000 right now." So he waits patiently. The teller went back into the vault. She came out, counted out $3,000 and gave it to him. He took off $10, put it there, and he said, "I would like to deposit this $2,990, please." So that is the way that Raphael looks at things. When he gets, when he sees something that doesn't work for him, he immediately in his mind puts together the way for that to work. And isn't that the kind of people we want to learn from? Isn't that the kind of people that we want to have around us? People that when they see something, and most people would say, "All right, well, I'll go use my ATM and just sort of wander away." He'll immediately, in his mind, figure out the answer, work with it, do it, and then go right past it like it wasn't even anything. And a lot of times, maybe he'll get some other people's attention in the meantime, just like the elderly man did in the bank. And Raphael is certainly a discipline coach. And when I say discipline, I mean it in the good way. If you watch his daily posts on LinkedIn, you will see his exercise workouts, which can be anywhere from 3 minutes up to 9 minutes and everything in between. And he uses great equipment. And yet every single day he posts, every single day he shows people what great things they can do to help themselves physically and mentally. What you're seeing him do on LinkedIn is the physical manifestation. That's a result of the thoughts that he's thinking and following through on. That's why he's a mind coach and a disciplined mind coach. And I consider him a great and wonderful friend. And Raphael, could you please share with just some nuggets and some helpful hints for our viewers here today? Thank you.
Wow, EA, there's $10. That's why I withdrew $10 so I can send them to you for that introduction. So thank you.
Perfect.
One of the things that for anybody to understand where they're going is we're all creatures of this, of habit. Now, you may go to work and you go the same way every single day. You may do things the same way. You wake up and you do the same exact thing every single day. We're creatures of habit. So habits create our life, create our way of getting around this world that we live in. And when those habits get disrupted, what do? How do we handle it? Who do we look for? We try to blame other people for our shortcomings because maybe we couldn't do what we needed to do, what we're used to doing. But here's the whole thing. You're in control of your habits. And the hardest thing for people to do is to interrupt their bad habits with good habits. So why do I post every day? Nobody's paying me. Nobody's saying, hey, you got to get up at 4:30 in the morning, go work out and show people what you're doing. No, I made it a habit. I post because I want to share some advice for people. I want to encourage them to change their ways. I want you guys to live longer. I want you to be happier. When your body's happy, so's your mind. When you connect those two things together, let's think about the breath, right? When you want to create something, and Arlene talked about it, and Ericka talked about it, our habits, our breath, the way we react to things, that's who we show the world who we are. Our habits is part of who we are. Can we create new habits to improve ourselves? Absolutely. The problem is people have this thing called fear, right? Screw fear. Forget it. You have one life to live. Live it. Who cares what people think? Do what you are here, what you're meant to do in this life. You have one life. It's really short. Listen, my goal is to live a very long life. And even if I live to be 157 years old, that's still a very short time. So in order for me to live a long life, the habits that I form today will take me there. Don't get me wrong. I can get hit by a bus or whatever can happen, right? But if I can prevent those things from happening because I am taking care of my body, but my body's not enough. I have to control my mind, my thoughts, right? My thoughts can become a reality. How do they become a reality? I have to put them down in paper, and then I have to act on them. So without actions, my habits are nothing. They're wishful thinking. Put in the comments habits. If you are always doing the same thing every day, I'd love to see how many of you put down the word habit, right? Because a habit is something that can make us a lot of money. A habit is something that can help us have a better relationship. A habit is something that can help us stay healthy. We visit the doctor. We should only visit the doctor once a year, and that's for a health checkup. That's it. That's the only time I see my doctor because of my habits. I don't have to go to the doctor. I don't take medications every single day. And guess what? If you are on medications, sometimes it's the habits that got you there. How do we get out of that? So start by what you put into this beautiful body you have. I call a machine. You're a machine. You're the most complicated machine there is. You also have an amazing computer we call our brain. Let's get into the habit of feeding those two things. I said habit again, right? Habit, habit, habit. We need to get into the best of habits because we all have known people, whether we've had them or other people, we see it around us. People have a habit of smoking, habit of overeating, overindulging, of being not nice to other people. And being not nice to other people is a habit because it's the emotions that we take in that are going to help us understand who we are. So thank you so much, EA. Thank you, Ericka. Thank you, Arlene, for you guys always bring such great content. This is why I am so happy to have you guys in my life. Ericka, you're dead on when we talk about our health, what people consider trauma to be, how we have to deal with it. Arlene, you're dead on also on relationships, because when someone, and I talked about our habit to be into a better relationship, when we make it a habit to, when we come home, to be super happy, make it a habit to come home and be happy when you see your loved one, right? Your dog doesn't even think about it. Your dog is wagging its tail. You're not even in the door. You're at the driveway. And that dog is super happy. Let's create the dog habit. Let's create, I said it, the dog habit. Let's be like a dog when we see someone we have affection for. Let's just be happy, right? Because a lot of times we may have had a bad day, and then we come home and we bring that bad day home so that bad day continues. It doesn't have to. Let's create the dog habit. What do you guys think? Who wants to create a dog habit? Everybody put in the comments, dog habit, dog habit, dog habit. Let's be happy. Life is so short. Let's make it abundantly clear that we need to be happy. Thank you guys. My gosh, you guys are all super amazing. Every one of you. You inspire me. You touch my life. I started Coaching Call just to meet you guys. So thank you.
He's awesome. Rafael Gomez, what a great leader. And I just want to mention, dog habit's awesome. And you want to make sure as you develop habits that you don't bark up the wrong tree.
That's right.
Anyway, so for next week, we actually have another Heroes event, February 18th at 12 p.m. Eastern. One of the nice, great things about YouTube, a YouTube event, is you can set your reminder. Not only catch the event live, but if your schedule doesn't permit, because everyone's so busy, you can always catch the replay. So set the reminder and you get the opportunity to do a replay, listen to it over and over again, listen to our speakers over and over again. You can see their links in the comment sections. Next week on the 18th, we have David and Ellie are going to be discussing the 6 dimensions of being, which is better than 6 dimensions of not being. That's crazy. Okay. And Whitney is going to be sharing with us how to provide second chances through real estate, which is so much better than doing it through unreal estate. That's all I want to say about that. So we have an exciting, great speakers. And I want to let you know that Raphael actually invests quite a bit of time with all of our speakers and those that come in before he even invites them. And he handpicks those who he thinks are going to help our listeners and Heroes Rising the most. And, when Raphael decided he was going to do this, I was so blessed that he reached out to me and said, hey, would you like to participate? Because I knew he was going to do it anyway. And he's the founder of Heroes Rising, and what a great friend. So with all of you, thank you so much. And as we like to say at Givers University, don't just have a good day. Have your best day ever.
That's awesome.
God
Lady,
bless.
you mind unmiking and giving throw out some love out there for everybody?
Yes. Thank you so much, all of you. I was so impressed with the presentations and all the information. Ericka, I will definitely reach out. And I hope people got the gist of what I was trying to say. I know I got frozen here and there, but just remember, everyone deserves to love and be loved.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Arlene. This has been wonderful. I just want to say, EA, our conversation that we had was transformational. So anybody who's on this call who is looking for a little bit of true mentorship, click on EA's link. It's amazing. You will not regret it. And Arlene, it's wonderful to meet you here. That was fantastic. And I really enjoyed it. And Raphael, you are a joy. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, guys. Listen, everybody, like EA says every single time, have your best day ever. Ever. We'll see you next week, everybody. Enjoy.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.